What is going on, everybody? My name is Coda, and welcome back to Coda's Colognes. Today, we're going to be looking at and reviewing Terence Hughes' Hard Candy Elixir and Hard Candy. So, the reason we're going to go ahead and look at these together is even by how he wants to do things, he recommends you wear these together. So, that's what we're going to go ahead and do. We're going to go ahead and look at these together. We're going to focus heavier on the Hard Candy Elixir only because if you could only pick one, I would pick this one. So we are going to focus a little bit heavier on this one because this one is more of a darker, more refined version of this. Alrighty, so I got both bottles right here. Go ahead and get on those a little bit. This video is mainly going to be based around the Hard Candy Elixir, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of show off this one, the atomizer on this one, everything else. I'm going to set this one aside just for a moment. Terence Hughes on these bottles might be the best atomizer out of my entire collection. These actually might be the best sprayers. So go ahead and the pressure he uses on these, the amount of burst these things push out, these are absolutely amazing. So is this fragrance. This fragrance is beautifully sweet and done up in an amazing way. But we're going to dive into that more in here in just a minute. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put some right there. And when you first spray this, you are hit with such a strong sweet fruitiness that it is beautifully blended. It is done up so well. I have no problem whatsoever wearing this one. Now you are going to have to wear this one a little bit colder. The thing that makes this one so different than some of the other ones that I've worn in the past is this is a heavy strawberry based fragrance. It's a sugary sweet, but it's like a natural sugary sweet. It smells like fresh chopped strawberries when you first spray this on. Now, just based on watching some of Terence Hughes' stuff, he always says that he prefers putting a base layer of Hard Candy Elixir on and then coming back with a regular Hard Candy on top of that. To me, these smell similar enough, opinion based, obviously. These smell similar enough that's a little bit redundant. Even the way the note breakdown, pretty well everything about these, they smell very similar. The only difference is this one is the irregular Hard Candy is just a little bit more tame than the Elixir. The Elixir lives up to what a lot of the Elixirs that have been released lately have been. This is a big, loud, bold fragrance. It's very beautiful. It's very sweet. Smells very, very good. But even a sweet, subtle fragrance can still be big and loud. It doesn't have to be a sharp iris or tobacco or some crazy note. Like I said, this one is strawberry forward on the opening, and then you get a heavy dose of strawberry in that. Alrighty, so speaking of those strawberries, I'm going to go ahead and dive into the notes on this. I'm going to get this bottle spinning up. I'll see y'all in a second. Alrighty, as we get this bottle spinning up, we're going to dive. This has a longer note breakdown, so we're going to go ahead and dive straight into it. The top notes on this are going to be mint, lavender, sweet orange, lemon, and mandarin orange. Some of that sweetness you get from those oranges mixed with the mint on the initial spray makes for a beautiful combination. The middle notes, though, is actually where this thing shines the most. The middle notes on this are going to be strawberry, vanilla, amber, tonka, honey, and nutmeg. What's crazy is you could use those 6 notes right now and you could describe this entire fragrance with that. The heavy strawberry note that you get as soon as you spray this is absolutely beautiful. I never thought I would be one to like a strawberry forward fragrance, but I was proven wrong with this one and I'm happy for it. The base note on this is going to be white musk, patchouli, ambergris, oud, and sandalwood. Now, in the deepest dry down of this, once you hit that hour mark, some of that strawberry note does fall off, but some of the sweetness that you get out of that remains, along with that vanilla and honey. The sweet oud fragrance that you get after that 1 hour mark, I'm not a big one for oud fragrances, but the way he's blended this thing and the way he's got this thing pulled off, to me, is nothing short of amazing. This fragrance is beautifully blended and with a lot of top quality stuff. But with that being said, I'm gonna get y'all flipped back around and we'll dive in the rest of the review. Alrighty, and we are back. Now this one does take a little bit of time to dry down, so I did wait close to an hour on this one. So, and part of the reason this does take such a long time to dry down is this has such a lengthy note breakdown. There's so many compacted into this little bottle that it takes a long time to go through some of those changes. So the biggest thing you'll pick up on this as it's drying down is somewhere in the middle. The honey note on this is a beautiful honey note that it mixes in good with that strawberry when they blend together all the way through the dry down. This fragrance stays so sweet. It's still, to me, this is a unisex fragrance. It does lean a little more masculine to me. My wife actually prefers the regular hard candy. I prefer the elixir. So maybe, lean in with that a little bit. Who knows? But as this dries down, this has vanilla at the base. The vanilla starts to show through just a little bit. Some of the sweetness on this, to me, doesn't lean very vanilla. Even through the dry down, whatever sweetness I do pick up tends to be very strawberry and honey based. Now, the wood nature in this does have oud in it, and I want to say this is 5% oud. That oud oil that is in the base of this does start to come through very strong about an hour into this. It starts to really gain steam, but as it dries all the way down, some of that oud that you get to keep, some of the sweetness you get to keep, it still stays fresh in a way. It doesn't stay light because this is kind of a heavier fragrance, but it kind of has like an aromaticness to it. It still kind of has a vibe to where you would want to be able to wear this anytime. Now, to me, this is more of a fall and winter fragrance. This is definitely a date fragrance. This could be pushed as a signature fragrance. Honestly, it's that good. It could be used as all of those. And the beauty about this fragrance is, even though this is an oud fragrance, this is very, very appealing. Very few people are going to dislike this. Every time I wear this, I get good compliments. I get people asking me what it is. All right, and now we are going to get into the price, availability, and performance. Availability wise, that is going to be my biggest issue with this fragrance. Terence Hughes as a whole, his entire brand, it's hard to get some of his stuff. He recently went through a thing to where you can't order directly from him. If you want to get this in America, you are essentially stuck buying from Fragrance Buy, Max Aroma, or Facebook groups. And the markup in the Facebook groups are insane. So your best bang for your buck on this one is going to be Max Aroma or Fragrance Buy. This one runs about 180 to 200, depending on if you have discount codes, tax, all that other stuff. So 180 to 200. And that's honestly my biggest complaint, is just the availability on this. It's too hard to get right now. Hopefully he gets that shipping issue fixed. Hopefully he's able to start maybe working at a thing where you can buy in bulk, something like that. Maybe even if it's like 5 bottles to an order, because buying from him is a lot cheaper than buying from other places. And unfortunately, the biggest issue is he doesn't make huge batches and huge quantities at once. And unfortunately, as we all know, harder to get means what you do get does tend to be a little more pricey. But the now we got the bad stuff out of the way. The performance on this, top tier performance. All of his fragrances that I've tried have been rock star performers. This one is no exception to that rule. I get anywhere from 8 to 10 hours of longevity. Go on this real quick. I get anywhere from 8 to 10 hours of longevity on this. The sillage on this is awesome. It's in that 3 to 4 foot range. The projection on this, his fragrances do tend to set a little closer to the skin. This one does the same. 1 to 2 foot projection, but any little movement and this thing wants to start throwing itself at you. So performance wise, this thing to me is about as rock solid as it gets. But yeah, so if I was going to rate this fragrance right now, again, Hard Candy Elixir, if I was going to rate this fragrance right now, actually, I'll rate both of these together. If I would rate these two together right now, both of these would be a 9. And the sad part is, it really has nothing to do with the scent profile. It has to do with these are too hard to get, essentially. Like I said, Max Aroma, and I think I said Fragrance Buy earlier in the video. That was a misspeak. It is Fragrance USA. They sell out within a couple hours of coming into stock. Not knocking him, but he is pretty slow getting new stock back in. It takes weeks when they go out of stock. So you never really know when it's going to come back in. And even if you do get a notification that it is going to be back in stock, you still might not get any because it sells out super fast. But yeah, that's my only knock on that. For that, I'm going to give this 9 out of 10. If we're talking just scent profile, this is a 10. There's not, profile-wise, there's not anything I would change about this. I'm not the biggest fan of oud fragrances, and the way he mixed in with this was top-notch. Genuine perfection of a blend when it came to that. Kind of where I'm at with this one, and even the original Hard Candy itself, it's an oud fragrance as well. I don't think this one's a 5% oud. I could be wrong on that. But for this one, it is a little softer. It is a little lighter. It's a little more airy. It doesn't have some of that deep depth to it. I think that's why he likes you to layer these up a little bit, is you do get a beautiful blend when you mix them. But for me, I'm not the biggest fan of that because it's a little bit redundant, because this one's a little bit lighter. Obviously, this one's darker and richer, but they smell a little bit too similar to me to kind of layer on top of itself. At that point, you'd be better off trying to pick up 2 of the same and layer the same on itself. Go ahead and set that back down before I drop it. But yeah, I think that is going to get us wrapped up on this one. Again, this is Terence Hughes. This is his Hard Candy Elixir and Hard Candy. I went ahead and threw that one in as well. It's kind of hard to review these together because they are so similar. So instead of doing 2 separate videos on them, I figured I'd kind of talk about a little bit on them on both. But with how similar they are, I figured I would focus more on the Elixir because most people that are going to go out and seek out one of these hard candies, they're probably going to be looking for the Elixir version anyway. But yeah, that is going to get us wrapped up. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you everyone for subscribing, for liking these videos, for commenting, everything else. I love it whenever I can get more involved in the comment section and stuff like that. I will always try to reply to every comment I get. And as always, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.